It's a crazy world out there, but right now it's time to just relax for a moment, take a deep breath, look at where we've come and where we need to go.
Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Kylene.
And I'm Jonathan. Before we jump into this video, we want to stop and take a minute and thank all of you. We just hit a major milestone of over 200,000 subscribers, and we are delighted that there is so many people out there that are trying to do the right thing, that are making small, steady steps, that are becoming more resilient and prepared for whatever may come our way. We're just so grateful for you. We're proud of you. Thank you for being part of the solution.
In honor of this milestone, we decided that it was time for us to get away and reset. And so we came out here to Bear Lake, where we can think clearly and bond with nature and kind of evaluate where we've been, what we're doing, and where we need to go from here, both personally and professionally. And so today there are 3 questions that we want to consider. The first one is, what are the concerns that we have for the future? What are the kinds of things that we need to prepare for? The second one is, what's the status of our personal preparedness efforts? How are we doing? What have we accomplished? And then the third one is, what do we need to do? What skills and resources should we work on for this coming year with everything that's going on? So with that in mind, let's get started on the areas that we are concerned about in our future.
The concerns that we have are probably not really much different than what we've looked at in the past. There's things like
they've escalated some.
Well,
they've seriously escalated, right?
They have escalated. There are some changes in those, but you know, things like economic and financial, these things
it hits me in the face every time I go to the grocery store.
Absolutely,
like
it does.
The same bottle of honey that was $10 is now $16. That's a big crunch.
And our national debt just keeps climbing higher and higher, with probably no way to ever pay that thing off. So there are some financial issues that certainly are affecting all of us.
The next one is the food shortages, kind of what we talked about. There are so many farms that are being shut down, and if we don't have farmers, we don't have food, and sometimes that can be a scary thing, and I think that it's more in the forefront than it ever has been before.
Increasing natural disasters. I mean, this has just kind of been a trend. If you look over time, these natural disasters seem to be happening more often, and some say, well, you know, that's just because we count them more, because we know about more, but I think when you really get down to the bottom numbers, there are more natural disasters, and they are affecting more and more people.
And then another thing that we've got is increasing civil unrest and violence. It's not the same, it's not as safe as it used to be out there in the world, and we have to address that because it's in our face now.
Absolutely it is. And the potential for a grid down. This is not something that we like to think about, and you know, certainly we're not making predictions here, but we're looking, as I would as an engineer, because that's what I am. I have to look at, when I design a building, I have to look at all the loads that might come on that, whether that's natural forces, man-made forces, and you know, the grid down is certainly something that can happen, and it's probably more likely now than ever in the past, and this would certainly affect in a huge way all of humanity, but we can make a difference by just taking some simple steps.
And then world war and the potential for a nuclear exchange, that is more real than it has ever been, in my personal opinion. So we've got to really look at that and see what we can do to mitigate that.
And the possibility of another pandemic. This isn't something we want to think about, but in reality, the last one was mild in comparison with historical standards. The scientists keep telling us there is the potential for another larger pandemic. So again, it's something that we can take some steps to prepare for and make a big difference.
So now that we know what we're concerned about and what we're looking at, let's talk a little bit about the status of our efforts in our personal family, what we are doing to get ready so that we are better prepared to face these challenges. And the first one is that we have just had to look and say, okay, many of these things, quite frankly, are out of our control, and there is nothing that we can do to prepare for it. And so we just have to let go what's out of our control and focus on those things that we can do to prepare for the things that are more within our control.
And that's one thing that I've noticed as I've talked to a lot of people is sometimes we spend way too much time thinking about these things that we can't control, and we simply need to use that energy to move ahead and make progress.
So we have made great strides on our food supply. And for us, it's that sustainable food supply that's really important, because yes, I can store wheat and beans in my basement, but that is a finite supply and will eventually run out, especially as we share with our neighbors and those in need. But the more food that I can grow on my little piece of property, that is sustainable and it will come back every year. And so we have worked really hard. We have a little food forest now in our front yard. We have finished planting that, and yes, it does need to mature, but I think it's going to be beautiful as well as productive. And we're taking new strides in some of the things that we preserve. Like this year, our Nanking cherries are super easy to grow, and they grow in this bush, right? But they have a really large seed. And this year I made Nanking cherry syrup. Oh, is it good? I think I have a new favorite food in the whole world. So we're working on building our skills and learning how to use those resources. I've planted a lot of medicinal herbs so that we can try and learn how to take care of our own health in the event that we're not able to have others help us. So we're doing all kinds of things like that, and that gives me great peace.
One of my favorite things that we've been doing is becoming more organized. Now, sometimes as preppers, this is a bit of an issue. It is for me. I'm here declaring that organization is a bit of an issue, because I tend to think, okay, I might need this someday, but the reality is if I can't find it, it's just as good as not having it. So we are doing a lot of organizing. We're getting rid of a lot of stuff that we look at and we go, well, you know, I don't think we really need this. We're now empty nesters.
Yes, we are.
And so our lives are changing a little bit. We're having the opportunity to go through and get rid of a lot of things that maybe we needed in our family setting before, but we don't need anymore.
And by passing those goods on to somebody who is in that stage of life, it benefits everybody. We're no longer weighed down by it, and it's giving that resource to somebody that can use it. So we strongly encourage you to get organized. You know, whatever that takes for you to get organized, do it. And we're not done. It's a process, and we're still working on it, but we've made some really good progress.
Another thing that we've done is thought about transportation a little bit, and this is going to be several phases, but to start off, we got an electric bike and electric scooter that cost almost nothing to run and yet can get us around to different places very easily and very economically. So we've done a little bit on the transportation front.
We're also, speaking of that, we're working on our physical health. We are trying to walk everywhere that we can and get out there early in the mornings, and we're lifting weights, and we're trying to eat more out of our garden. We're doing everything that we can do to try and increase our physical health and strength so that we are ready for whatever comes.
And we've made some progress towards being prepared for an EMP. This is one of the risks that we talked about up front. I hope we never have to face that risk. The fact is we may, and we've made some progress in being prepared for such an event.
And we're working on relationships. I can't stress how important I feel relationships are. We can't get through any of this alone. We've got to build relationships with our family, with our friends, with our neighbors, and within our community, so that when something happens, we already have those relationships intact and we can help each other, because it's much easier when you know somebody's face, when you know their heart and you have that relationship, it's much easier to help each other out.
And I have become a huge fan of building these relationships, which is kind of odd for me because I'm an engineer. I'm just the kind of guy, you know, stick him in a corner somewhere and just let him crunch spreadsheets and design stuff. And I have really learned to love getting to know neighbors and meeting new people and developing these relationships and finding out, you know, what skills they have and what skills we can share with them. And it's been very rewarding for me.
The last thing is that we have worked really hard to help others take steps to become more self-reliant and prepared for the future. Part of it is our channel and our business, and part of it is just everything that we can do within our own little community to help each other succeed.
Now we get to our action list, things that we feel like we want to do moving forward to become even more prepared. And first of those is to continue to work on our physical health and strength and physical defense skills. Life is not going to be easy or fun if we're not feeling well, if we're sick, if we're weak. And so being strong and healthy and vital is just so important to this whole process.
Another thing is we need to step up the security of our home just to another level. We have been looking for security doors for well over a year. Like, it's been a battle finding a good security door that would actually fit our front door. And we finally found somebody that we're really excited about who's willing to make one for us for a reasonable price. So we've got that going in. We've got a little camera system, but I think we need to expand that so that we've got more security cameras. And then we also need to make sure that our house doesn't look like a target. We need more thorny bushes on all the outer edges. I know that it's not going to stop everybody, but man, some of those black raspberry bushes, let me tell you, you're going to think twice before you climb over that fence. So we're working on more of all of that, just making our home more secure.
And another thing that we're doing is updating the legal aspects of our lives. We've had a family trust in place for many years, but as we mentioned, everything has changed now. The kids are all gone. It's time to reestablish that trust and change a lot of the way that things are going to operate when we do pass on.
You know, either one of us don't want to leave our spouse in a predicament if we do die. And so with everything that's going on, it's just a really good time to make sure that all your financial and legal affairs are in order. And that is one of the things that we're doing. The other thing that I'm super excited about is we are installing a grid down readout battery backup system and solar panels. I wanted solar panels on our house forever, and Jonathan has never found the right system. And so I don't have any solar panels on my house. I'm like, I'm a prepper. You know, we're missing something here. So I'm really excited about that.
Yep, that's coming along.
The other thing, we talked a little bit about that, is we have done our little food forest in the front yard, and it's coming along. But we are going to continue to stick food-bearing plants, right? Anything that will bear fruit or that we can eat, we are going to just stick it everywhere that we can on our property and create abundance. So that, I know a lot of people are always talking about, you know, protecting their food from their neighbor, or what are you going to do? You've planted a food forest in your front yard. People are going to come steal it. Well, you know what? That's part of our generosity and our way of helping others. If somebody's going to come steal hazelnuts off my hazelnut bushes, they must be really hungry. And I'm just kind of okay with that.
And the declutter will continue until we get through the whole house and get it all done. I mean, it's never a completely done process, but we will continue to make progress every day to unclutter and to organize.
And we will continue to build relationships. Jonathan and I, we are I'm really enjoying kind of spending more time with him, because now we have each other. We work on the business together, and it's all about spending time with each other. And that has actually been really, really good for our relationship. And we are united in the cause of helping others and helping everyone to become a little bit more prepared. And so along that line, we'd really like to know what kind of content you would like for us to create for you this year, so that we can help you become better prepared. We have been blessed to rub shoulders with some very smart people who have a lot of different skills, but we want to know what content you would like us to create. And we would love to know what you're doing to be better prepared. What progress have you made, right? We celebrate that with you, because we're all together.
And
right?
we hope
We're
that you'll go
united.
through this process together with your family, with your loved ones, whoever your community is. We hope that you'll go through this similar process that we've just are going through right now, of looking at where we've been, where we need to go, any new threats that we need to address, and just make progress. So let us know what you're doing.
And thank you again for helping us to reach one of our milestones, 200,000 subscribers, because that means there's so many more people who are prepared. So share this content, help your neighbors become prepared, and let's make the next milestone of 300,000 even sooner, because that means that if our community is ready, there is so much more that we can survive. So Thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of the solution.